It's an hour of power on the next Oz. Beat your energy slump.
So tell me how to make these and I will judge if they taste as good as my energy balls.
The power plan to restore your energy from early morning till late night. Then get your finances in order.
It's easily done. Anybody can do this.
The power plan is stop living paycheck to paycheck. And our food's pumped with caffeine safe. We check it out in our Food Truth series. Coming up next on the Dr. Oz Show.
We'll save lives today.
You guys ready to get healthy?
All month long, we've been giving you power plans to help you reach your goals. Because let's face it, around this time of year, it's cold outside and we all start to slow down. Am I right, audience? Yeah, we've all been there. So today, we're giving you the power plan to restore your energy. We teamed up with the best minds in integrative medicine, top institutions, from Andy Weil's Center to the esteemed Cleveland Clinic, to bring you the simple steps you can start today. Then, for everyone who vowed to get out of debt this year and stop living paycheck to paycheck, we have a power plan to take back control of your finances. And finally, my frank conversation with presidential candidate and doctor Rand Paul. Find out what his healthcare plans for addiction, obesity, and vaccinations are if elected president. Today's show is all about making the best choices today to lead to a healthier tomorrow. So let's get started with the power plan to restore your energy. Now, the top integrative medical institutions in the country are hard at work researching how to beat your fatigue. And today, we're sharing their secrets with you. Dr. Jennifer Cottle is here. She's been working with us to sort through the latest findings. She says, when you're starting the plan, the first step is to embrace change, and you have been documenting this for us the last couple of days. How's it going?
It's been so much fun. I have to say, I think one of the best things you can do to increase energy and decrease fatigue is to make a change. And sometimes the small changes, honestly, make the world of difference. So, first thing I suggest is small thing. Change the way you get to work, okay? Usually I'm driving to work. That's me on the left right there, driving to work. But you could also walk to work. You could take public transportation. Maybe if you have to drive, you drive a different route. But the idea is sometimes that small change is enough to kind of give you a little bit more pep in your step. So the other thing I like to do is, sometimes I'm sitting at my desk in the office and I'm kind of like feeling blah and the day is going on and I need to pick me up. So what I'll do is I'll go out to the nurse's station because they're always playing jokes on people. See them in the background. That's Kiva and Stacy.
Those pranksters.
They play pranks, they make jokes. We have a great time. So that's me on the left going out to the nurse's station. Sometimes I'll just work in a different location. That enough alone can actually be enough to make you feel a little bit better.
All right, the first part of the energy power plan actually starts in the morning. It's a tip from the Cleveland Clinic to get us there. It's to have the high lysine-rich foods within an hour of waking up. So these are foods that they recommended to you. You put them together in a little concoction. How do you recommend them?
Well, so first of all, let's talk about foods that have lots of lysine in them, okay? Those are meats. Those are also dairy products like cheese, like yogurt. And it's also things like beans. But who wants to eat beans and meat for breakfast? Not me. So actually, a great way to sort of get around this and still get some lysine in your diet is to take an avocado and put that in your morning smoothie. Now, Dr. Oz, I know you have your Dr. Oz green smoothie.
Very proud of it.
I know you are, as you should be. But this is the Dr. Jen smoothie. We've got some almond milk, we've got some mango, some papaya, and then we're gonna throw the avocado in there. There it goes. And that makes my green smoothie. That's the Dr. Jen smoothie, let me say.
Does it taste good?
I think it's pretty decent. So try it at home. Let me know what you think. But this is a great way to get a lot of vitamins and nutrients. Now, the thing is, avocado has a good amount of lysine in it. Lysine, with some preliminary studies, has been shown to decrease stress levels and anxiety, but we really don't have enough evidence in studies to say that definitively. So for right now, the best thing to do is just to get a well-balanced diet with all your nutrients. This is a great smoothie to start your day.
If it tastes good, that's all I care about right now. All right. No one knows how to use food as medicine better to boost energy than Andy Weil. He's known as the father of integrative medicine. Here he is with the next step of the plan for a midday boost. It's to drink mushroom tea before lunch.
For the next step in our plan to restore energy and power, we're going to turn to mushrooms. Not mushrooms like this. I'm going to ask you to drink your mushrooms. I'm going to make a tea of a medicinal mushroom called cordyceps that's been used in China for centuries to boost energy, used widely by athletes for greater aerobic capacity. I'm taking about a half teaspoon of cordyceps powder, putting it in a teapot, and I'm going to add about maybe 3/4 of a cup of steaming hot water. It's important to let this steep for about 2 minutes. That dissolves the compounds in cordyceps and makes them available to the body. And then you can pour this through a fine strainer if it hasn't settled. Cordyceps tastes good, perfectly safe, and it can give you a real energy boost.
So, Andy Weil loves this tea. Do you hear that screeching in that video, by the way? That's his Ridgeback. I thought he had a parrot. Yeah. That's his little Ridgeback making noise. So I'm pouring you some of his tea. So it's fresh. Go ahead and give it a taste. I'm just curious what you think about it. You know, mushrooms are used for medicinal purposes all over the world. I don't know why we ignore them in this country, but we shouldn't. What do you guys think? Pinkies up, please. Pinkies up.
Bland.
Bland?
Yeah, need some sugar.
Yeah.
Tastes like
Come on now. It has a...
Honey, something?
It's got a hint of dirt.
Yeah. Very woodsy.
Very woody, right?
Very woodsy. Yeah.
Oh, come on now. Let me taste it.
It's not that bad. Like, I could drink a whole cup of this.
It's not. It's
It's
terrible.
an acquired taste.
I'll stick to my black tea, though.
I don't think you'll cover with sugar alone, but these are tastes that you have to, over time, get used to, or find other versions that you like. All right, toast.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. Now, the afternoon slump is an energy robber of our day, and the next step is to add a protein-rich snack at 4 p.m. Dr. Jen has kept this part of the plan a secret from me. I've not been allowed to hear about it. So break the secret to me and everybody else.
Yes, so I've got a big sort of surprise for you from one of your friends at the Cleveland Clinic who I've been in touch with. Now, you know your no-bake energy rolls that you've been talking about on the energy balls, rather, you've been talking about on the show?
They've been very popular on social media, I should say.
They've gone viral, in fact, and it's been fantastic. But we're
the big butt.
We're gonna bring them back, and we're also going to try to make them a little bit better. So I want you to see.
All right, closing my eyes, or should I open my eyes?
You can keep them open.
All right, take a look, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Oz. It's your good friend, Dr. Mike Roizen in the Cleveland Clinic Culinary Medicine Test Kitchen. You know, a few weeks ago, you came out with great no-cook energy balls. Taste great, but help you get over the afternoon slump. They're a perfect combination of fiber and protein. But you know something? Our master test cook, Chef Jim, came up with some modifications that smooth your sugar even more and give you more energy. Monounsaturated fatty acids in almond butter and in walnuts, plus some chocolate and cinnamon. And man, they taste magnificent.
That Dr. Roizen, he thinks he's got a better no-bake energy ball than me. He's trying to one-up me again. So tell me how to make these, and I will judge if they taste as good as my energy balls.
Okay, you can be the judge. Well, I'm super excited about this. We've got lots of great ingredients. So we've got some oatmeal, we've got some apple, some ginger, some cloves. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put all these ingredients and more in the bowl. Okay, so you wanna just give me a hand. That's some syrup over there.
Syrup and oatmeal.
Syrup and oatmeal. It's like breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at one time. Wait. And we got some nuts, we got some chocolate.
The chocolate could be good.
You're doing a good job at stirring. This is good.
That's the only thing I can do is stir. I stir the pot.
You're a good stirrer.
Yeah.
All right.
There's cinnamon, there's vanilla you added in there.
Cloves, and this is the last thing.
Peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh.
We need some help there.
I don't think it works with just this little spatula. You gotta put your hands in there.
Yeah, I think this is gonna. I don't know. This might top your other energy balls. You never know.
All right. So anyway, we do this for 20 minutes.
Yes, you're gonna keep doing this.
Seriously.
Yes, you're gonna keep doing this. But we gotta tell people once they finish doing it, it's all mixed up. You gotta keep it in the bowl and put it in the refrigerator with some saran wrap for 30 minutes to let it get cold. That's really important.
Then it looks like this.
Then it looks like this. So now what we have to do is we have to make it into the little balls. So 2 inches, we're gonna roll them around. This is great. Okay, so now what our final product looks like are these fantastic things over here. So I think we should try them.
All right, I'm gonna take them back to the audience. Go ahead, take one.
Yeah.
I want some honest opinions now from folks. Go ahead. Take them, pass them around. I want you guys to taste these and compare them to what you think my little energy balls might taste like. I've got napkins here. Here's the napkins. Keep your hands clean. Okay. Are they good?
These are so good. I
that.
love them. You didn't even get one yet. Try that one. It's yummy. And I don't know, is it better? You be the judge. What do you think?
I gotta hand it to Royce, and these are very good.
Isn't it yummy?
Yeah, he knows what he's talking about. These are very good.
So good.
Thank you for
This
being
might
here,
be the
Jeff.
next best thing. You never know.
You never know. For the full power plan to restore your energy, including the full recipe to these no-bake better energy balls, go to droz.com. Up next, a new trend showing up in grocery stores near you. It's caffeinated foods. It has the FDA jittery. I'll weigh in next.
Next, it's showing up in prepackaged foods and has a lot of experts worried. The latest food craze that could leave you wired. Unregulated amounts of caffeine being added to what you eat. Should we be caffeinating our foods? Next. The kissing bug.
The fact that it drinks blood out of your lips isn't the gross part. It actually poops on your face.
Parasites that hijack your body.
How do you actually find that if you have one?
All new Oz. That's coming up on Monday.
In today's Food Truth series, we're taking a look at a new trend showing up in the grocery store. Caffeinated foods. Now, they've only just begun to explode onto the marketplace, so take a look.
If you're like most Americans, this is how you get your morning caffeine buzz. But guess what? Now you can eat your way to a caffeine buzz. Foods pumped with caffeine are popping up at grocery stores nationwide. Everything from potato chips to sunflower seeds to beef jerky. There's also ice cream, yogurt, even hot sauce. The trend has gotten so hot that worldwide we've spent $29 billion a year on energy-boosting foods. The FDA says up to 400 milligrams of caffeine, about 4 cups of coffee, a day is safe. So are all these caffeinated foods putting you at risk of overdosing? Senator Charles Schumer warned about the danger of children eating caffeinated peanut butter, saying the FDA should take immediate action and investigate whether this caffeinated food product should be pulled from shelves. Today, what you need to know, the truth about caffeinated foods.
I'm here with Adonica, a self-professed coffee addict who says she can't survive the day without the stuff. You know, watching the tape with you, I could see you were getting a little excited. You kept mumbling jerky, beef jerky.
Yeah. I love all of it. I love all of it. In fact, I eat all of them. I eat waffles, I eat peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter a day with the Java. Love it.
Oh, you drink it with the coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, but part of the question is, what if those foods themselves had caffeine in them? Come on over here. So you mentioned a couple foods. Let's just go through these. Okay. Jelly beans, right?
Yeah.
You happen to like those, I noticed.
Yeah.
Right? There are caffeinated jelly beans now that have the equivalent of 1 cup of coffee for a little bag. And how about peanut butter, which again you mentioned?
Love it. Love it.
I think most of us do. But again, a serving of peanut butter with these caffeinated versions, 2 cups of coffee. Everyone chews gum, right?
Yes, of course.
Pack of gum, 10 little nuggets over there, equivalent to 5 cups of coffee. You didn't mention ice cream. Are you big ice cream?
Big ice cream. My family's a big ice cream.
The whole thing?
Dad, I have to have 2 gallons.
You personally?
No.
Oh,
my family.
Good, all right, making sure. Right? So this amount of ice cream, even if it's not coffee ice cream, can have caffeine in it that is equivalent to 6 cups of coffee. So how many cups of coffee do you normally have in a day?
Okay, well, I would say maybe 5.
5 cups of coffee in a day?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so it's sort of interesting because, 5 cups of coffee is a little bit more than most folks think you should have in a day anyway. However, if you're not having issues with it, that works out okay. But I just showed you how you can get 14 cups of coffee into your day doing pretty normal things, right? They're chewing some gum, some ice cream, etc. So that's this much coffee, 14 cups, and that doesn't count the 5 cups you just mentioned. So imagine getting 19, 20 cups of coffee a day and not realizing it. All right, so when you take a lot of caffeine into your body, it can do some things to you. It gives you the headaches, right, which we get because the blood vessels are squeezing and contracting in our body. We can also have problems with anxiety, which is not related to work or friends. You can have problems with your heart rhythm, and that little pitter-patter that happens all the time. Yeah. And then it's uncommon, but you can actually have a heart attack when your heart goes in a direction you don't want it to. And when I see those kinds of symptoms come together in people who have less than 20 cups of coffee, when I translate it to what we're talking about today, it gets me a little concerned. That's why folks like the FDA are getting a little jittery about this. There were 20,000 visits to the ER related to caffeine in a recent study. It's a lot of people.
Really? Yeah. Yes.
And again, most of it's headaches and anxiety and palpitations, but this stuff begins to add up. So if you're already taking 5 cups of coffee a day, you got to start adding this up. And the problem is, it's hard to do. And this is what worries me the most. Stand right over here. Let me show you something. Take an average packet of, let's say, the gum. You see, it says with caffeine there. They warn you. They actually have to. If you turn it around and look at the food label, it'll say it right there, but not up here. And the nutrition facts will not tell you how much caffeine's there, only that there is caffeine there. And it gets camouflaged. And I think we need to get companies to start putting on how much of the caffeine's on there, or they need to take it out. one or the other. Also, tricking the Adonicas and the Dr. Oz's of the world. All right. Thank you for being here, my dear.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. We'll be right back. Next, break the money stress cycle, keeping you living paycheck to paycheck. Our expert money coach and finance guru are here to help. The power plan to take back control of your finances. Learn how to live debt-free once and for all. Next. Oh, so long, I'm giving you the best choices you can make today for a healthier tomorrow. Now that the holidays are over, I know a lot of you are trying to break the money stress cycle, keeping you living paycheck to paycheck. So I brought in together to work together the money power players. The money coach, Lynette Calfani-Cox, and finance guru and a member of my core team of experts, Rick Edelman. Now here's what they're gonna do. They're gonna give you a power plan to take control of your finances and show you how even an average salary can turn into $1 million, and I'm talking literally. That's a brand new year, and this plan will change your future. Let's start with Rick Edelman, who's been working with our audience. We all start the new year with the best of intentions, but a few months in, we fall into our old habits. We start tracking the wrong direction. Give us a plan, just fundamentals of how to organize a strategy.
Well, it really comes down to pennies. People don't realize that, Dr. Oz, but so many of us are focused on paying our bills. We don't realize that getting out of debt is great, but that doesn't build wealth. Building wealth is a totally different skill set and a totally different activity level than simply paying bills and getting out of debt. And it all starts with pennies, and we're going to show exactly how that works today.
So you generously gave the audience, every member of the audience, a penny.
Very generous.
Yes. What's your question about that penny?
What would happen if you were to take that penny and double it in value every day for 30 days? How much would it be worth at the end of a month?
Who's got some thoughts on that? Let's see who's got something up here. What do you think, ma'am? At the end of a month, the penny that Rick so generously gave you, what's it worth?
It's worth 30 cents.
30 cents. All right, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
so
a good guess.
if you take it, let's turn it around now, really interestingly. What if you take a penny and double it every day for 30 days? Now what it'll be worth? If you take a penny a day, every day, you're right, 30 cents at the end of the month. But what if you were to double that penny every single day for 30 days? How much money might you end up with?
Now what do you think? 60 cents.
60 cents.
Hold a second. So, once again, to be clear, I'm going to make sure we restate this. You're doubling your money. Actually, you don't have to double it. We can do... Give them a very specific concrete.
Well, let's say that we very specifically do, in fact, double it every single day for 30 days. So at the end of 30 days, instead of having the 30 cents of the 30 pennies, you double it to 60 cents. What if you go even further than that? Who thinks it might be worth more than 60 cents at the end of 30 days? Who thinks it might be worth $100? Raise your hand if you think it'd be 100. Anybody think it'd be worth more than $100? More than $1,000? More than $5,000? Nobody thinks it'd be worth more than $5,000. You know what the amazing answer is, Dr. Oz? If you were to double a penny every day for 30 days, you know how much money you'd end up with after 30 days? $10 million. Now, this is shocking to people, and we're going to explain exactly how this happens.
But I would have gone for the 30 cents too, by the way. But this is a huge issue because a lot of folks don't understand the power of money. And I love the fact that you're comparing two different issues, right? How do you pay your bills and how do you actually accumulate wealth?
Exactly right, Dr. Oz. And people don't understand how money grows and how money works, and that's why they don't take advantage of it. This is what people think money does, that it grows linearly. In other words, it's 2, 4, 6, 8. That's not how money grows. In fact, money grows logarithmically, exponentially. It's not 2, 4, 6, 8. It's instead, take a look at this red line. It is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. And if you keep doing that for 30 days, a penny becomes $10 million. So we have to get our money earning at effective rates of return. I'm using a hypothetical 10% rate of return, which is just the average return of the stock market since 1926. So it's easily done. Anybody can do this. The key is to start with that one penny.
And use it wisely. So the first step, you argue, Rick, is to actually write yourself a check. 12 checks, in fact.
Yes, and that's what we need to realize, is that everybody's busy paying our bills, right? You all pay your bills every month, and we spend all of our time paying our bills, and what happens when you're done paying your bills? You're broke. We don't have any money left. That's the case with all of us. So here's what I want you to do instead. Before you pay any of your bills to Visa or the department stores or the grocer or your rent and mortgage and car payments, what I want you to do is to pay yourself first. If you'll pay yourself first, write that very first check to yourself, then pay all of your other bills. Guess what? You're going to be broke, only now you'll be broke with money instead of being broke without money. And here's how it works. Let's say your income is $50,000. This is the average annual income in the US. All you do is drop a zero. Take that $50,000, cut off a zero, it's now $5,000. Now, take that $5,000, divide it by 12, and what do you get? $416 a month. That is how much you should pay yourself each month. So write yourself, Dr. Oz, 12 checks of $416. And every month, you take one of those checks and deposit it into a mutual fund account, exchange-traded fund, or if you don't have any cash reserves, just put it into a bank. Do this before you pay your bills, and you'll be amazed at how fast your money is going to really grow.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in a second. The next step in our power plan is going to be given by Lynette. How are you, Lynette? This is an issue that comes up a lot.
Yes.
You know, there's these auto debit accounts that I keep hearing about. You think we have to all have one of them?
Right. I say you should definitely set up an auto debit account that you don't have a card attached to. And this is the key, because if you don't have the card there, that eliminates the access for you to get to it. It's a way for you to be able to save more money, set it aside for the stuff that you're really going to need it for.
Let's help someone, a real person from the
Okay,
audience. You
good
don't
to
mind.
you.
Andrea's
Yes.
here. She says she has over $5,000 in debt. Is that
Hi.
correct?
Yes, correct.
So-
What it's like, been there, done that.
How has that affected your health?
It makes you stressed out, sometimes sad, can I get a handle of everything? Also, sometimes you feel like you're losing hope. Will I ever be able to get to where I want to be?
This is all credit cards debt, right? You just use your credit card for things you maybe needed, maybe didn't need, in a mixture.
Groceries, dog bills, clothing.
So then how does the auto debt account help everyone who's got this issue?
Well, this is a way for her to set aside some money for the expected and the unexpected things in life. And let me show you. We'll give a quick example over here. So this is kind of typical because life happens to all of us. So I tell people, when you're setting aside money for the expenses that are expected or even the unexpected stuff, think about having what I call a life fund. And it works out like this. The L in life talks about listed items that are in your budget, but frankly, you've got them listed below cost. Maybe it's the cell phone bill or your utilities that you underestimated. You got to get that right. The I in life refers to those impulse purchases. The F in life is referencing forgotten bills. Now, this is the stuff that is typically seasonal items, or maybe it's the thing that, once a year, once every 6 months, it might be memberships, subscriptions, things that you kind of forgot about until those bills pop up, but you need to set aside money for those as well. And then finally, the E in life references those emergencies and unexpected events. It's real life. It's going to happen to all of us, the expected and the unexpected.
So Andrea, as you see this life cycle that you created for you, how does it make you think differently about the debt that you've gotten?
It makes me feel that I definitely need to work on the impulse buys. Definitely need to do that.
You're telling the story of just about everyone who's watching right now. So you need a plan. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Because what you're doing now isn't working for you.
No.
And we can do better, and you're not alone. So when we come back, I've got a plan for all of you, and I've got the 30-day credit card free challenge. What do you think about that? Is that scary?
Yes, it does.
You're going to be credit card free for a month. This is a challenge you're not going to want to ever miss out on. Find out how you can be financially debt free once and for all.
Next, are your credit cards holding you back? Stop feeling overwhelmed and get control of your finances. Our 30-day credit card free challenge is here to help. Simple ways to get yourself out of debt.
Once the cash is spent, no more spending.
The kissing bug.
The fact that it drinks blood out of your lips isn't the gross part. It actually poops on your face.
Parasites that hijack your body.
How do you actually find that if you have one?
All new Oz.
That's coming up on Monday.
Today, I've brought together my money power players to help you get back control of your finances. Now, these are small changes you can make today for a healthier tomorrow. And the biggest culprit holding you back, my friends, are credit cards. So, for the very first time on our show, we are launching the 30-day credit card free challenge.
For the next 30 days, we're challenging you to put away the plastic. The rules are simple. First and foremost, stop using your credit cards. No exceptions. Then, visit your ATM only once a week. Take out enough cash for 7 days and see how far you get. And you can use your debit card, but just once a week. So think before you swipe. Finally, track your savings while you take our 30-day credit card free challenge. We guarantee you'll be surprised.
Rick is here with best friends Sharia and Larissa, who are here to take the challenge. Between the two of them, they are $16,000 in credit card debt. They both said it was important for their stress levels to get their money issues under control. Why today? Why draw the line now?
Well, I gotta be honest, I'm really stressed out. I can't sleep sometimes. I'm over worrying myself. I really need to get this under control. I need to stop spending my money like it's my first time having my credit card at 18 years old. Like, that has to stop.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I'm trying to get it under control. I'm very stressed out about it. I don't even have a savings account, so that's not a good thing. So I'm definitely trying to get it under control, get it together.
So, do either of you play the lottery?
Yes, I do.
And the reason is because you figure you want to get $1 million one day, and that's your best chance, right?
Absolutely.
Well, here it is, in fact. Here's the lottery tickets. So here for each of you are $5 lottery tickets that, if they win, they're worth $1 million.
Went from a penny for everybody else to $5 for you, which is a big deal.
My generosity is growing by leaps and bounds. But here's the key. That feels like a credit card. It doesn't feel real. But you think it might be worth $1 million. So let me ask you this. Would you be willing to trade that lottery ticket for this $5 bill?
No way. I need to pay today, $5.
And because you figure...
I'll take the cash.
No. Actually, you're the one who gave this to me in the first place. So what we have to recognize is that you don't want to trade that lottery ticket for a $5 bill because you figure $5, that's nothing.
Right.
That might be worth $1 million.
Right.
And that's what lottery players believe. But let me ask you this. Have either of you ever won $1 million in the lottery?
No, unfortunately.
So how about if I show you how you can do that? You can convert your $5 lottery ticket into, in fact, virtually $1 million.
So what can that $5 do?
Well, it's really amazing. If you take this $5 that you play the lottery ticket every day and you instead save it, you do $5 a day every day. Instead of buying a lottery ticket, you save it. And you do that every day of the year, 365 days of the year. And you do that every year for 40 years. If you just earn what the stock market has done for the last 100 years, you'll end up after 40 years with almost $1 million. So instead of gambling your way to $1 million, you can do it for yourselves with certainty, without having to risk on your lottery tickets.
There's a reason people sell lottery tickets.
This is very true.
Not charitable.
It makes money for the sellers, not the buyers.
All right. Let me borrow our two women over here. I'm gonna go back over to Lynette here. Lynette's got some simple and easy things you can do in addition to the. First of all, give me these things. Give me those back. Give him the $5, Rick. Give him the $5. Give him a chance. There.
They get to keep the lottery tickets too?
No, take the tickets. All right, so.
There we go.
Lynette, if you got two tips.
Yes.
In addition to the $5 they just made.
That's right.
That everyone at home can do.
That's right. Well, what you can do is you want to stop using those credit cards for 30 days and give them the old deep freeze. So you see these credit cards in here that are iced out, and frankly, some of you need to put the credit cards on freeze to give yourself less temptation to spend. You can do this. People say, like, can I go without a week without spending? I don't. Try it and see. And for a lot of them, they'll figure out that, hey, it wasn't as hard as I thought. I actually did it.
Now, we also have to freeze them backwards and upside down so you can't read the numbers in there, right? And we actually took the liberty of freezing your credit cards.
What?
We got you started.
These are yours, yeah. It's a starter kit.
What did you do with my card?
They're in there.
They're going to be in withdrawal for like
1 month. They're frozen.
Oh my goodness.
You're welcome.
What?
We figured we'd jumpstart your 30-day plan. You can do this.
All right. Next, you got to reorganize your wallet to make the most out of your cash.
That's right. So I want to show you something, and I don't know if a lot of you have paid attention to this. When you think about the wallet that you're carrying around, have you ever noticed how there's a lot more slots there for what? Credit cards.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot more than for you to use cash.
Right.
An exponential amount of slots, but we're trying to take you through 30 days without credit cards. That's why you don't see any here. Instead, I want you to organize the cash that's in your wallet. So you'll have money set aside for food. You need to eat, of course. You'll have your transportation expenses accounted for. And then a little of the extras, a little bit of the miscellaneous stuff, the stuff that we know is gonna happen, life, like we talked about. You set aside some cash for that. But here's the thing. Once the cash is spent, it's done. No more spending, okay? And no whipping out the credit cards to try to cover for the extras
They're
that
frozen.
you want. They're frozen.
I cannot believe
You know, you can do anything for 30 days. And this is going to be an important example of how you can reorganize your life. Because when you get the credit cards back, there'll be weapons to help you, not weapons against you.
That's very true. You're absolutely right.
Good luck. Let us know how it goes. We're going to keep telling your story. All right?
Thank you.
Isn't that wonderful?
Thank you.
Listen, don't feel overwhelmed, everybody. These are small steps you can take for a better tomorrow, so take them today. We'll be right back.
Next, Senator and presidential candidate Rand Paul, practicing ophthalmologist turned politician. Why he keeps an eye on addiction in America.
We need to treat drugs and addiction as a healthcare problem, not an incarceration problem.
Coming up next.
The next president's going to have to make a lot of big decisions that will affect your health, so we've asked all the presidential candidates to come by and make a house call. And who better to start off with than a doctor? I want you all to welcome Senator and presidential candidate Rand Paul. Dr. Paul. So let me start with a sort of obvious question. You're an ophthalmologist, an eye specialist. What prompted you to slow that down a little bit and go into politics?
You know, I guess I got frustrated. I was frustrated with so many people, some on the right, some on the left, kind of messing our country up, you know, borrowing so much money. We borrow about $1 million a minute. And it got to the point where I said, you know what, it won't be too long until they start messing up medicine. And lo and behold, I think they're starting to do that as well.
So you do a lot of, I guess some hallelujahs up there. You still do pro bono surgery, I should point out. You may not realize this. Why do you feel that drive to keep operating?
You know, my first love as far as occupation has always been medicine. It still is. And I want to go back, in fact. I think we need to have people who go into politics and go back into their career, and that we need more new people in Washington over time. We need more of a revolving door and less of the career politician. But I love practicing medicine. And the neat thing about ophthalmology as opposed to politics is that when I remove a cataract, you know, that's blocking someone's vision, they sit up and they say, I can see again. In politics, that almost never happens.
No, it doesn't happen.
You know, we work and we work and we struggle, and even when we agree in Washington, we don't seem to get much done. But in ophthalmology, it's almost immediate. Every time the patients are happy. It's a very, very common problem. Probably a third of people over 70 will have cataract surgery.
So let me ask you this. Your dad's a doctor. I know that feeling because my father is as well. Your father was in politics. So what is it, do you think, with your medical training, makes you ideally suited to lead the nation? What is it that doctors learn that might give us those insights required?
I think physicians are problem solvers. So like when I went to Haiti, I go with a team from the University of Utah, the John Moran Eye Institute. We all work as a team with a common goal to remove the cataract, get good vision back, you know, diagnose the problem, fix the problem. In Washington, I think we're too concerned whether you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican or vice versa, instead of trying to figure out the problem and figure out a solution. So I think physicians are better adapted at it. I'm sort of a Republican secondary to the fact that I'm an American, that I'm someone who believes that the government needs to only spend what comes in. And when I see the problem, I'm honest enough to say, you know what, the reason we have such a big debt, it's not just President Obama's fault or Democrats' fault. Frankly, it's both parties' fault that we've gotten to where we are.
We've got about 40 million Americans who suffer from addiction. We've talked about it a lot on the show this year. It is a massive drain. How would you help address that, using your healer hat, as well as politicians in the
I think the main thing is we need to treat drugs and addiction as a healthcare problem, not an incarceration problem. For too long, we've thought, oh, we're going to lock everybody up. And what we've found is that the war on drugs, if you look at it, has disproportionately locked up poor people, black people, brown people. So there are people saying, you know what, the justice system's not fair. But also it's the mistake that we're going to lock people up for this stuff. I don't think drug use is good. I know addiction is wrong, but I would treat it as a healthcare problem. And you can save a lot of money by not putting people in prison and put that towards rehabilitation, not incarceration.
Let me ask you about a troublesome quote. It's attributed to you, but you can either disavow yourself of it or address it. This is actually a quote from you talking about heroin at a town hall in New Hampshire. You said, there's a lot we've got heroin problems and all the other problems, but you know what? If you work all day long, you don't have time to do heroin. I love you address the quote, but also the stigma around addiction.
Well, I think sometimes we give shorthand remarks in politics that we might think is clever or funny, and that might be one of them. I do think, though, that work, let's say you are a heroin addict and we're going to fix you or try to help you. Part of it's a medical problem, but part of it's a spirit, and the spirit's broken. So I do believe, I'm a religious person, that the drug rehab that I've seen really work has involved not only the physical aspects of getting rid of addiction, but replacing what's broken in the spirit, but then also a third aspect, which is work. And so while the fact that you didn't have a job didn't make you a heroin addict, it's not that simple. But I do think being working and being active is something that is part of a healthy lifestyle that keeps you away from addiction.
So when we come back, we'll talk about obesity and a lot more issues that everyone's concerned about. What would Senator Paul do if he was elected? Stay with us. Coming up next, Senator Rand Paul sticks around to answer your most pressing questions.
I think there is room for government as far as being a safety net.
From how our government can help with the obesity crisis to the controversy over vaccines, we discuss the concrete issues America cares about now.
The kissing bug.
The fact that it drinks blood out of your lips isn't the gross part. It actually poops on your face.
Parasites that hijack your body.
How do you actually find that if you have one?
All new Oz.
That's coming up on Monday. We are back with Republican presidential candidate Senator Rand Paul. Is there ever a role, an aggressive role, for government in healthcare? This has come up a lot with Obamacare.
You know, I think there is room for government as far as being a safety net. And what I would say in general terms is you don't want the safety net to be so big that it overwhelms those who are paying for the safety net. But I think the goal should be that most able-bodied people, we want to have them working, and if we have to have them either on welfare or have them on something to help with their health, the government paying for their health, that is temporary and that we move them on, realizing that there's some people that never get off. But if you want to have more money for those who are truly disabled, you got to get those who are temporarily disabled or who may have a fixable problem, you got to get them back working.
So let me, if I can, ask you to address the two most popular parts of the Affordable Care Act. One, helping folks with pre-existing conditions get insurance. And secondly, the fact that kids up to 26 can still be on their parents' policies. Right. So how do you replace those pretty important parts of the legislation?
I think with regard to the pre-existing conditions, this made everyone mad. You know, I practiced in the old system, I practiced in the new system. The best insurance, if I could reform the system, I don't think government does a very good job at distributing anything, including health care. But if I were to reform the system, I would love to see a system where we had health insurance from birth, privately funded, but where you had long-term policies like term life insurance. So if I have a heart attack, because of these awful questions you're asking me today, if I have a heart attack today, my life insurance doesn't go up because I have a 20-year policy or whatever. Yes. Health insurance should be the same way. So if I get a heart attack and I get sick, that should be part of the risk that they build into me buying the policy. They shouldn't, because I now have a pre-existing condition, charge me more. The only way we get that to work is to have multi-year policies. But the other ideal thing and the ideal system from my perspective would be that you get it for your child at birth, and then gradually your deductible rises each year. And in doing so, we're able to let the premium go down each year. And under the old system, sometimes this did work. For many years, I had my whole family of 5 and a large deductible, and I spent very little on insurance. Now under Obamacare, one of my complaints is I still have a high deductible, but now I have a large premium also. That's because fewer and fewer people are left to pay, and more people are receiving subsidized insurance. The pool of payers is smaller, so anybody who's left paying for their insurance is going to have to pay more.
Let me ask you quick questions that are from our viewers. These are very concrete issues. Obesity is bankrupt in the country. It afflicts a lot of folks. The government can play a role if it wants to. Do you think it should, for example, in labeling foods as causing obesity or, putting warnings out there?
I think with regard to how we fix obesity, if the government is dispensing the health care, let's say you're on Medicaid and the government provides your health care, I think one of the ways that we could save a lot of money and get people healthier is to have some sort of manager that actually manages it for the individual. And I'd actually work an incentive. Some individual patients cost the taxpayer $500,000 a year, $700,000 a year. I'd put a manager in charge of not only working on their weight and their health, but also trying to manage what's the best way. They've got 20 doctors and 50 different medicines. Let's try to reduce their medicines. Let's try to do this. But I think part of losing weight, and I've always been intrigued by this because I think ultimately the best weight loss program would not only involve advice, but would involve kitchen and advice on what you buy in the grocery store. It'd be a three-pronged thing. Probably be expensive. I don't know how we could actually do it with the government, but I'd actually take people to the grocery store and show them what to shop, and then I'd also show them how to make the food, and then I'd also work with them on exercise. It'd be everything, but we'd save millions and billions of dollars if we could get people to work out.
Vaccines have been a very controversial item. With all the presidential candidates offering different perspectives, where do you stand?
You know, one of the best books I ever read on vaccines was called The Speckled Monster, about the smallpox vaccine. Thomas Boylston was a doctor down in Boston. They named Boylston Street after him. And he learned from a servant of his that had been in the Middle East that if you took some pus from one of the pustules of someone who survived smallpox, made a little incision in someone who wasn't sick and stuck the pus in the incision, that you actually could inoculate people. It was an amazing thing. It's probably one of the most amazing stories in all of medicine because of the millions of people who survived. So I'm an advocate of vaccines. That all being said, I'm also an advocate of freedom, and I think that individuals do have a right to make some decisions when and where they get their vaccines. And I think in some ways, and there may not be the scientific proof to back this up, that we just do go a little bit overboard with mandating 21 vaccines, 32 vaccines, this and that. I'm not against getting them, but like with my children, hepatitis B, you know, my 6-day-old's not gonna get hepatitis B. I just soon wait a couple months and let them grow. And it's just, maybe it's my feeling, but I think I'd have the right to wait a few months and spread out my vaccines. Now, all the science says that I'm not correct and there's no evidence, but at the same time, it's my kid, you know, it's their body, and I think I ought to have some decision-making in when they get their vaccines.
Senator Paul, Dr. Paul, thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Quick tips to declutter your life.
It's about a new year, new you, and it starts here.
Plus, the trick to achieve your goals.
This is about harvesting that inner power that folks have and don't realize.
All New Oz.
That's coming up on Tuesday.
It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on when it comes to healthcare in America. I believe we all have one common goal: to make our nation healthy again. So today, we heard from one presidential candidate, Senator Rand Paul, on how he would tackle the future of healthcare, from insurance to the cost of care, these epidemics of obesity, and all the addiction we're suffering in America today. And we're hoping all the candidates come in for a house call to have an open, honest, and transparent conversation about how they envision the future of health in America. Your health is the most important issue every year. And so our goal this election season is to make this stage the primary stop on the campaign trail for every issue regarding your health. Remember, healthy and happy, it starts at home and in the voting booth.